So, we need the other masks to close the rifts?
Correct. Now, my brother Akano is around here somewhere.
Welcome to the show, vermin.
Looking for your precious mask. Behold the aforementioned putz.
Don't worry. We have a thing where we fight, he loses. It's a well-established dynamic.
Not this time. I've got a backstage pass for you to get up close and personal with my weapon of mass percussion. Come ready to rock.
Crash 4, It's About Time walkthrough. So this is just kind of your basic how to get through the level walkthrough. Maybe seeing it from a different light will help you get past the part you're stuck on, who knows. And I gotta say, watching the older replays of the earlier levels is kind of reminding me just how much of a journey this game actually is. Like, you start off with the engine being really the main bad guy, and then of course we see a lot of other familiar faces along the way, but this game is not particularly short, and the difficulty definitely aids in that, which I've mentioned about 13 times now in the last 2 videos. But also, just levels on their own are way longer than they are in the previous Crash games, so that's pretty cool. So in the previous video, I said I was going to talk a little bit about just the sheer amount of stuff that you can do in these levels for this game. Just the number of reasons you have to repeat them. So reason number 1, obviously, is to get all the boxes. That's been a thing in every Crash game since Crash came out. And reason number 2 is to try to find, if you don't find it the first time anyway, try to find the secret gem. And the other one is maybe a level is pretty hard, and some of the boxes are hard to get. So if you can get all the boxes in one go, that's good, but you may not be able to get all the boxes and then complete the level with only 3 deaths, or at most 3 deaths, before you get to the end of it. So you can get all the boxes in one playthrough, and then you can play it again perfectly, so-called perfectly, only dying up to 3 times to try to get that gem at the very end. And once you finish that, then you get all the gems of the level. And once you get all the gems of a level, you get a new skin for Crash, and whatever, Coco, I think is what his sister's name is? They are sisters, right? Are they not? I have no idea. Or no, they're not brother. I mean, are they brother and sister? I don't know what they are. But anyway, so after all those, like, original, I think 5 gems, because 3 of the gems are also your apples or the fruit, the amount of fruit that you collect in the level. But if you're getting all the boxes, that should just come naturally. But anyway, after that, later in the game, we unlock the, what are they called? The inverted levels, and there's a boss where we'll get to see what the inverted is all about, and it really just makes the level look a little bit differently, but it has 5 other gems with 5 other new similar challenges, and it's just really a reason to replay the same level like 18 times. So it's kind of cool that they do that, and then on top of that, there's time trials. And then on top of that, I think there's perfect, there's like a perfect trophy of sorts, which I think I haven't actually tried or looked at it yet because I just couldn't believe that it was even a thing. I think it's just like completing the level without dying, and it might be getting all the boxes and completing the level without dying. I'm not totally certain on that though. I guess I'll have to look that up. I mean, I'm supposed to know what I'm doing here, but this game is pretty big, and there's so many games out these days, it's kind of hard to keep track of all the rules that every single one of them has. So the point I'm really trying to get across is that you will never be bored in this game if you like Crash Bandicoot, and if on top of that you like incredibly difficult 3D platformers. I was really worried when this game came out that the difficulty wouldn't be very high, because Crash 1 is pretty hard, and it has some pretty famous, notoriously difficult levels. Crash 2's got like no difficult levels to speak of, and Crash 3 varies from having really easy to pretty hard, but not as hard as Crash 1 levels, and this game eclipses all of those. I was struggling early on when I was playing Crash 4 to decide, is this game harder than Crash 1? And about halfway through this game, yes, it is definitely harder than Crash 1. On top of the hidden gems, there are the other super secret gems that were also in Crash 1, and I really won't be getting much of those on purpose. Every now and then I might come across a regular hidden gem and I'll pick it up, but I'm never going to go out of my way to get them because it just is not a 100% walkthrough. The fact is, I guess it'll depend on a certain scenario of the level, but if you need like a video when you're trying to 100% this game, you're probably not going to 100% it too easily, is going to be my guess. But I guess if you also just have no idea where the gem is, then a video will help too. But either way, I also just kind of wanted to show this off. I already had the game recorded, so may as well, right? So besides just the regular platforming that you have to deal with, there's going to be enemies, and some of the enemies are going to be familiar, and some of them are definitely going to not be. The jumping sharks are kind of cool too. I always wait on these things. I never rush them anymore thanks to this game. Checkpoints are relatively plenty in this game, and then there's of course a new thing that I haven't talked about yet, and that's the phasing in and out here. I don't know exactly what this tiki is called, but we're going to collect a whole new batch of tikis inside this game. That's the whole point of the story, so we can fix all the rifts that are being caused by the bad guys. And this one, when you push the triangle button on the controller, it'll phase these boxes and platforms in and out of existence. So you have to not only jump and land on the platform, you also are going to have to make sure that you can push the button before Crash actually lands on them, so he doesn't fall through them. And some of these early on are pretty easy. They're pretty straightforward, but later on they're going to get crazy, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to get those videos up. That's going to be way later in the game though. I'd say, like I said before, the difficulty in this game doesn't really start to match Crash 1 until... Oh, and there's a secret gem right there. If you don't destroy the box, it's pretty easy to get. But anyway, this game does not really start to match or surpass Crash 1's difficulty until about halfway. So until then, if you've played a Crash game before, you'll feel right at home, and then you'll start to hate yourself. That is it for this level.